Good evening, everyone. Very happy to see some faces that I haven't seen for a long time. I'm Edgy Chantal. I'll be your facilitator tonight. Very happy to see you, as I've said. DGE Louis, I'd like to recognize you tonight. And all PDGs, past presidents, present, greetings. And to all of you, President-elect, Secretary-elects, Treasurer-elects, I wish a very good year. And rapidly, I will tell you that the year coming will not be still easy. Please be innovative. I wish you a very, very excellent year. We are starting tonight with PDG Delma that I have the privilege to present as our first speaker. I had the honor to work under her governorship as an AG, and I'm still very proud. And as she knows, I told her she's a model for us women in the district. And PDG Delma, thank you for presenting us your subject tonight. But before, I will let everyone know, if you have questions, leave them for the end. And please send them to us through the chat. Put a question mark, then we will know it's a question. PDG Delma will be talking to us about goal setting. One thing that I know she knows very well, because I had to collaborate with her. PDG Delma, you have the floor.
So thank you very, very much for that very warm introduction. DGE Louis, and I also saw District Trainer PDG Felix and other Rotary dignitaries, presidents, incoming officers. It is truly wonderful to be here with you this evening. And of course, I believe that there are some Rotaractors on there. So greetings to all my fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors. I see some very familiar faces. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the time that I'm going to spend with you. As Rotarians, together we transform our clubs, our communities, and ourselves. And one of the fundamental things that lead to transformation is goal setting. Hence, my session for the next 15 minutes is going to be on exactly that, goal setting. I think that several, if not all of you would have at least started planning your year. And this presentation is designed to give you some pointers to enhance your time as leaders. Now, we know only too well our vision statement, which is together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. Club presidents, you have an awesome responsibility of leading your club. And if you have had a chance to read your president's manual, you will notice that that responsibility includes setting goals, evaluating them, engaging and inspiring members to accomplish them, and celebrating your wins. As presidents and officers, you must consider how you will advance the vision of Rotary International through the goals your club set for the next Rotary year, all with the support of your leadership team and ultimately your membership. The objectives of this session, therefore, is to gain greater appreciation for the importance of goal setting, the importance of having relevant goals, the importance of publishing and monitoring your goals, and the importance of membership involvement and gaining the support of our members. So what is goal setting, you might ask? Well, it begins with a goal in mind. And the goal, as I'm sure some of you know, is the desired result that a person plans and commits to achieve. It is essentially a plan to help motivate persons to take action. And with that, we have goal setting, which is the process of identifying something you want to accomplish and establishing measurable objectives and timeframes to help you do exactly that. Goal setting is important to succeed and to avoid failure. We all know the famous quote by the late Sir Winston Churchill, "He who fails to plan is planning to fail." You must therefore have a roadmap of where you want to go with an action plan of how you're going to get there. So let's look at some specific reasons of why goal setting is so important. Goal setting is fundamental to success. It helps to create a future rather than leaving it up to chance. It helps us to grow, to expand, and to transform, and to be better Rotarians and better clubs so that we can change lives and create the impact in people's lives for the better. Goal setting allows us to measure our programs and to achieve our highest potential. Very importantly, as we do not have unlimited resources, goals help us to focus on what's important and help us to organize our time and resources. Goals also serve to motivate us and help to keep us accountable. You have no doubt heard time and again that your goals must be smart, but I believe it is so important that it's worth reminding you of this, as it may make the world of difference in your year. So goals must be specific, they must be measurable, they must be achievable, realistic, and time-bound. An example of a goal, of a SMART goal is, my club will achieve 10% net increase in membership by the end of May 2022, as opposed to a loose and unmeasurable goal, such as, my club will grow membership. Additionally, goals should be worthwhile. And very importantly, there must be commitment to the goals. They must be prioritized, and every single goal must have an action plan. Some goal setting tips. Let's have a look at those for a moment. It's important that you brainstorm with your leadership team, as well as others within your club, to get ideas. You need to survey members for their opinion, as you might be very surprised by the feedback you get. And we have different types of tools available on Rotary.org that can help us, whether we want to do an assessment of our members or do our club health check, so that we can get a sense of where we are. It's also very important to talk with community leaders and review community needs. You also need to review your club's strategic plan and consider the club's strengths and weaknesses. Review institutionalized projects for relevance and impact, and do not be afraid to discard those that are no longer relevant. Review or update your strategic plan, and as much as possible, make sure that your goals align with your club's strategic plan and that the club's plan is aligned with Rotary International Strategic Action Plan. As well as you would want to make sure that your goals are aligned with the Presidential Citation and the DG Awards. And you need to, as I mentioned previously, develop an action plan. So let's look at what it means to develop an action plan. This action plan must consist of small steps or smaller steps to achieve each goal. You need to determine who is responsible and the due date. Decide exactly how you will measure project progress. Assign the necessary resources to get the job done. And you need to check your progress from time to time and adjust as you see fit. Very importantly, involve all members in implementing the action plan. Such involvement by members would lead to greater buy-in and a high level of success of your goals. And a big bonus will be, guess what? More engaged Rotarians. And it's also very important that you create opportunities for fellowship. Yes, that you create opportunities for fellowship and networking. Monitoring your goals would be essential. And to do this, it means sharing your goals. This is a huge step in monitoring your goals. It is critical that they be shared with members early on, whether through business meetings, club assemblies, or forums. And the goals need to be entered and tracked in Rotary Club Central. And I hope that you all have been learning about Rotary Club Central by now and that you all have your sign-in already completed. Here goals can be set. This is in Rotary Club Central. Goals can be set and edited by the President, Secretary, Treasurer, Foundation Chair, Membership Chair, and Executive Secretary. This starts with ensuring that these officers have a My Rotary account. Club goals can be viewed and tracked by all members, but of course, they too must be registered on My Rotary. And so educating your members about this option and making the sign-up process for a My Rotary account as painless as possible is also a very important step for your club. I would also add that where possible, publish goals on Rotary Ideas if you want to generate support, whether it be financial or otherwise. I also encourage you to use other resources available, like our assistant governors, district chairs, area coordinators, and to tap into district and RI resources that are available to help make the process a lot easier. I mentioned earlier that it's important to celebrate your achievements. And to do this, you want to make sure that you create opportunities to share and applaud all the wonderful things that you would have done. You want to recognize the good work of members, committees, and the club. You want to capture the moment and share such on places like social media, in our district newsletter, and elsewhere. You want to share your achievements on Rotary Showcase, because by doing this, you would be sharing your knowledge, quite apart from the bragging rights. You'll be sharing your knowledge, and who knows what impact it would have on another club who might be interested in doing something similar in another part of the world. And you want, of course, to join the celebration at district conference and see what other clubs within our district have been doing. And although this might be a little bit painful, I would encourage you to share your achievements in the Club of the Month program. Now, we all know that Rotary comes with a lot of structure and it comes with a lot of resources. And I'd just like to share with you just a handful of resources that are available to you as you plan your goals for the year. Number one is Lead Your Club Presidents, and this is contained in the first chapter of that manual. You then have Be a Vibrant Club, and of course there's Rotary Club Central, and there is the Learning Center. So I would encourage you to really take advantage of all the resources that are available to you. And in summary, or in conclusion, I would just like to summarize by saying goal setting is fundamental to your success as a club. The goals must be smart, and that every goal must have an action plan, and goals must be shared and monitored. And very, very importantly, you may doubt me, but very importantly, your achievements must be celebrated. With that, I say thank you and best wishes for every success as you and your board take your clubs to new heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, PDG Delma. I want you, PEs, SEs, TEs to remember that you need to set goals. It's fundamental to success. PDG Delma said it, and believe me, it's true. That motivates you to take action. And remember, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And remember also to celebrate your achievements. Thanks those who have been working very hard for the year. Don't wait for the end of the year. You do it at your meetings, at your fellowships. Make sure that you thank Rotarians. They love that. And we do love to have awards, district awards, presidential citation. So follow the guidelines. And now we're gonna be having PDG Aresh. Hello, PDG Aresh. I'll be very happy to see you. It's been a long time. PDG Aresh will be talking about service project and fundings. And he would like to his presentation to be interactive. Please do participate.
Thank you.
Because we need to know that. Thank you, PDG Aresh. Happy to see you.
Thank you so much. A couple of things I want to go over with you. We've got about 30 minutes. I really wanted this session to be interactive. And the idea is we'll pose a series of questions and we want everyone to participate. There's a lot of ideas, I think, in the room, and the benefit of having pets and getting everybody together on one platform allows us to be able to share the ideas. So we'll be doing that, and when I pose a question and ask for your thoughts or comment, we can use the reaction button, which is at the bottom, and it says raise hand. That'll allow us to know that you want to participate. And then also we've got the chat. So I'm hoping that you all are able to get access to your keyboard, either on your mobile, tablet, or your computer easily. So you're able to share the thoughts. As I said, the knowledge is in the room, and we really want to be able to get all the thoughts going. So this session is, we want to touch on service projects and fundraising, and less than 30 minutes. And what we want to do is to really highlight impact. I'm sure we all realize that service is a major component when we try to attract new members to Rotary. People gravitate impact that clubs and entities are doing. And what we have found is that if you've got significant projects, you've got projects that are sustainable, and projects that are meeting the needs of the community, you start to see your membership go up, you start to see the public image increase, and you start to even see people want to contribute more, and they go out and they attract others, they attract other partners. So it's really a win-win to when we start to focus as a club on higher impact. Today, quickly, we want to touch on how we can increase some of that impact. So we'll get some ideas flowing from the group. We'd like to look at how the district can help you increase that impact, and we'll touch on some thoughts on that. And then we really want to hear some ideas that you're doing, what you're planning to do as president-elect, what you're planning to do as a club member, as a service project chair, what you're going to bring to the table. We want to hear some of those ideas. In fact, you could probably start to put that in the chat right now. Let's start to formulate what it is that you're planning to do to create some impact this year, or some projects that you're going to continue, or something new that you want to start this year. Start working on those. We're also going to touch on how those things interweave with our 7 areas of focus. And of course, major impact as an organization is the eradication of polio. We're going to talk about how we can continue some support ideas for that. And then we're also going to look at how we can really take it to another level by collaborating and partnering with other organizations and clubs. So let's dive straight in, right? As I said, I want you to use the chat box, raise your hand. We want to know how you're planning to increase impact this year. I see we got one thought here. Liz is saying hand wash. Absolutely, massive project. You've gotten presentations on that. And I have heard a lot of clubs want to take that on as a major impactful project. But let's get some other ideas. How are you planning as a member of your club, as a president-elect? What are you going to be doing this year to increase impact? Let's do the hand reaction. Let's put some thoughts into the chat. Okay. So the first one out of the gate, aside from Liz, was Belinda.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Our major project this year, and it is only one of several projects, but our major project is that we wish to build a business advice centre here in Ocho that will offer advice for people that want to start businesses and small and medium-sized businesses that will allow them to come and get advice for free. Mentorship, plan, whether your problem is financial or you have a problem with your taxes, or how to put a business plan together, promotions, marketing, you've got yourself in a problem and need some guidelines, whatever it is, you would be able to come to the business centre and be matched with somebody who would help you at absolutely no cost. Currently, this is not available anywhere in Jamaica at all. So we would not only be first, we plan on getting government and business involved in this to help build, but this will actually be a building. So it's a big, big undertaking, especially when you consider that our club is all of 11 people.
That sounds like really something of high impact, Belinda. So quickly, how are you going to fund that?
With miracles, I think. We plan on, as I say, approaching government, but we also plan on the private sector, partnering with them to help build it, and then probably finishing it off with a global grant. We realise this is not a project that's going to happen in a few months. We were a little late off the baton to get started with a global grant, so we will probably finish it with a global grant. But the idea is to get the community, to get the business involved. The more they're involved, the more they will want to partake and the more it'll help.
Yeah. So from what I'm hearing, it sounds like something that is going to be much larger than your club. It's going to have a big impact. So you're going to the community, you're going to businesses. So that's partnership right there. And you're going to the Rotary Foundation in terms of a global grant. Great idea. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Most welcome.
Go ahead, Tammy. You can unmute.
Oh, sorry. Good evening, everyone. I'm President-elect Tammy Chang from the Rotary Club of Ocho East. I think projects should be impactful, where it makes a significant change. And one of the ways that can happen is gathering the interest of the members that would like to see that change in the community. And, of course, applying the SMART towards the project. One of the things that I look forward in doing, of course, is to carry out the vision of Rotary International on a whole. And I see that the theme focuses on youth and women in general for this year. And I feel like in Otrius, we will get up each day and there are issues that sometimes we don't address to where it becomes towards a solution. So one of them is to really bring the awareness of youth issues in Senan, especially in Senan, and work towards solutions. So what we've done is working with the Interact clubs and focusing on one of the organizations that caters to homeless pregnant women. And of course, I love what the previous Rotarian said about, offering mentoring and so forth, like some of these services that we can offer to them. But we started small by bringing in speakers to, encourage them, empower them, and actually trying to place them with different organizations that can help them better themselves. So part of it is just like focusing on the youths in that aspect, in the issues that we can manage as a club. So that's one of the areas of focus that we want to build up. And of course, to recognize local businesses in the community, especially for the younger ones that would like to become business owners and just don't know how to follow the actual steps in doing so. And since our members are professionals, of course, can serve as mentors, host workshops in actual sense in terms of helping building up that structure mentally. And of course, we have some other projects where physically we can be in the communities, but I feel like right now focusing on the youth and some of the issues, we can put some things together and make it impactful.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. Sounds like you really have some wonderful plans for the year ahead. I look forward to seeing how that unfolds and unravels. PDG Felix, who's next?
From the chat, we have the PE of Pétionville Sud. Who is next? He said innovative projects.
Okay.
Thank you. As president-elect, a particular project interests me for the coming year in Haiti regarding to the needs of our country in environment matter. I think that we are going to create an innovative project and try to implement it in the areas where people are in difficulty. And then I think that we are going to build a project to interest all of our members to put emphasis not only on this matter, but also to try to bring people to interest in this project, to try to involve women in this project in order to help them to build the economic capacity. We are going to try to involve public sector and private sector in this project.
Okay, so
That's some ideas.
Sounds great. It sounds like you're already thinking a lot wider than your club, looking at all the different demographics and different sectors. So I congratulate you. That is exactly how we can help to increase impact. Good job. In the interest of time, I'm going to take one more project. Please type them into the chat so that way we can all get some inspiration there.
Yes, we
So
have PE Lisa Deveau.
Okay.
Our club wants to distribute food packages and food certificate to communities, serving over 200 families.
Hi, good evening. Yes, we did the project this year, and we were planning to do it again in the upcoming year. It was very successful, and we want to just enhance upon it this time, hopefully to feed more than 200 persons. So we did gift packets with the various
We can do.
canned goods, because you know that because of the pandemic, most persons lost their jobs. And so we provided care packets and food packets for persons. Also for one of our primary schools that we have, we were able to give those children food gift certificates to go into the food store themselves and purchase food. Also partnering this year, hopefully, and we had a partner with that project, which was AML Foods, a brand, a large food store chainery. And so hopefully we want to expand the project, not only distributing meals, we want to have a, almost like a career day fair, partnering with our Rotary Means business or our club members that are business owners, entrepreneurs. We want to have something like that. So when persons come for their food package, they too themselves can learn. And so how to establish a business. So that's one of our service project goals as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
So
you.
it already sounds like you're thinking about ways to scale it up. So that's great.
Good evening. I am Glenda Johnson Ingram, President-elect for the Rotary Club of Eleuthera. And our focus for the next year coming is sustainability, the environment, and the continuation of the recycling program initiative. And we'll be working with different councils, one Eleuthera, the local government, and we'll be working with some of the schools, the GSTC Council, some of the local businesses, and the churches. So there's going to be a partnership with this initiative for the island of Eleuthera.
All right, great. So I can already, sounds like you've already been ticking all those boxes, looking at how you can really scale it up on multiple different levels. So
yes,
it's good to hear. All right, so please continue to share your thoughts. The idea is that we all want to get inspired from each other. So continue to put your thoughts in the chat on what your club is going to be doing to increase impact this year. But what I want to do next is to ask you this question. So President-elect Shaker, one of the things he's pushing this coming year, and all of that is going to be part of your goals as you plan your year, is the Rotary Days of Service. Yeah, I'm sure you've already heard about them. So I would like to know how many of you are actually planning Rotary Days of Service. Maybe we can just have a hands up, digital hands up or physical hands up. I'm not seeing too many hands. Hang on, let me go through. Okay. Okay, I see a few hands up. So that is something really exciting that you can use, Rotary Days of Service. It's something that you can bring your club, groups of club. You could bring the community together, non-Rotarians, the family of Rotary, potential partners. You can use that and bring them together and put a day together or a group of days and actually have something impactful, something, as we say, to get your hands dirty, something that you will be able to do in your community that will raise the awareness of Rotary, raise the impact of service, and really leave your mark on your community. So I would urge you to think about the Rotary Days of Service. There's actually a brochure that is available online. You can look it up, Rotary Days of Service, Serve to Change Lives, and you will see it. Maybe somebody from the district can actually share that in the chat if they can access it. But that is something really exciting, and I would urge you to look at that. The other part, when we talk about impact and increasing impact, is how can the district help? Now, I know you've had some presentations on the Rotary Foundation, and that is certainly one way. But there are other ways. And so, I really wanted to hear from you. What challenge have you had in increasing impact, into doing a project? I know I've heard stories that we're not able to get our district grant approved. We've had challenges with the global grant, but we have shown that there are many other ways to get the job done outside of the Rotary Foundation exclusively. And one of those is the district as a resource. And that is why you've got district team training, you've got the entire district team roster, and of course you've got your district governor, District Governor-elect Louis here. And he's got a team that is there. You've got your assistant governors, but the entire purpose is to create this district resource network, and in particular, the district international service chair. You know, recently I was exposed to a project my club wanted to do, and we needed to raise about 80,000 US to do a global grant. And you know what I did? I reached out to my network of friends, Rotarians through the years that I had met at zone events, at district conferences, you know, at visiting Zoom meetings with other clubs since the pandemic, and just shared with them, you know, what we want to do. And before you know it, we had commitments for nearly 60,000 US out of that. That is how we can leverage the network, our club network, our regional network, our district network. So I want to urge you to think about that. Don't think you're alone. Huh? Don't think you're alone. You've got 177 people on the call right now. Okay, 80 plus Rotary clubs, Rotaract clubs. The potential is unlimited. It really comes down to you as an individual, you as a group of members in your club, and maybe as an area, a group of clubs that are going to say, no, this is what we want to do. When it needs that driver, that's someone that's going to say, we're going to do this. But use that resource network that you have, and you're surrounded by it right here in this. I am almost certain if you had an idea and you put it in the chat right now, I'm looking for Rotary clubs to help partner. You'll be surprised how many people reach out to you and say, you know what, that sounds like something that I want to be a part of. All right, next question for you all. I know many clubs have signature projects that we like to do, projects that has happened over the years, some what we call legacy signature projects, in some cases maybe since the club started. So let me ask you to go ahead and type that in the chat. We want everyone to get inspired here. Let's share some of your legacy signature projects that you've been doing. I'll just take a moment as you start to type that in there. Let's get some health screening, okay? And that's something being done every year. Butterfly Storybook, yeah, I have heard of that one. I think that's the E-Club that does that every year. Yeah, come on, don't be shy. Let's share it over. Maybe think it over, okay. Rotary Club of Kingston, Homes for the Homeless in partnership with Food for the Poor, okay. Montego Bay Club, Water Tanks Project, yeah. Nicely done. One of the things we have not spoken about, yeah, continue to type those in. One of the things we haven't spoken too much about today is how do we partner with our next generation and of course our Rotaract partners, right? But there is a segment after this on youth programs, and I'm sure they'll be going into more details on that. So as we're getting these ideas and these legacy signature projects coming into the chat, in the interest of time, we're going to segue to another segment, and that is one of Rotary's biggest impact out there, and that is the eradication of polio. And so, you know, the feedback we get year after year that it is hard, it's hard to continue to raise funds for polio, especially in areas where, you know, polio is not, hasn't been prevalent in our area. So it's hard to get individuals and entities and people to contribute. So, you know, one of the best resources that we can do is storytelling. Storytelling is a great way to help to engage donors and raise funds for the foundation. So I want to know what innovative event or idea you have been using in the past or planning to do this year to help raise funds for polio eradication. Wow, some great ideas on signature projects there. You know, one of the benefits of the chat, you can save the chat, and I would highly urge you to do that at the end of it so that you can keep all of these ideas. But back to polio. How can we help each other, all the clubs in our communities, be able to do more fundraising and raise funds for polio? Any ideas that we can use and take back to our clubs? For this segment, I mean, you could raise your hand, you could type in the chat, that's fine, but we want to share some thoughts that we can all use. Come on, 179 of us, I'm sure someone's got some ideas how we can raise more money for polio. Wow. So you can see the challenge that we're having, right? It is hard. I know I saw a club recently had a polio survivor that came and spoke to them. I mean, that one was very moving. I remember the club was almost speechless. You know, many times it doesn't touch home, right? It doesn't come close. And when you hear someone share that story of what they went through, it really brings it. It really brings it. And especially now with, as we're going through COVID here, it really hits home that we really need to get to finish the job. So I've seen one thought here. We have the first educator committee on polio and our efforts to eradicate, encourage benefactors. Purple Pinkies for polio, that is a wonderful project. Let me just take that one. If someone want to touch on that, and that would be, is it Corleen? If you could touch on that. I know we only have a few minutes left. Time goes by fast when we're having fun, right? So Corleen, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, that was for the pink puppies? No, that wasn't me. Someone else.
So sorry, I beg your pardon. Did I miss who it was?
I'm Gail.
Amber. So go ahead, Amber Gail.
Hi, everyone. Good night. So what one of our members did was she crochets. So she crocheted some little pinky covers. So where are they? Where did they go? So it's just like a little knitted cap for your finger. And it's, as you said, just to bring awareness to the polio issue that we have. So we sell them like for a small donation, and we use that money to make a contribution towards polio.
Okay. All right. So thanks for sharing that. I'm sure you can look it up online, Purple Pinky for polio, and you'll get some ideas there as well. We're going to wrap up. The final thing I want to share with you before we close here and remind you one more time to save the chat. Some great ideas came up in there. Is about partnerships. You know, if we really want to create bigger impact, partnerships is one of the best tools that we have. And so I will urge you in anything that you're planning this year, whatever you've written down as a goal or as a project idea, as an impact, think about how you can partner with other organizations, other clubs. Doesn't have to be Rotary clubs, other service organizations. Look around, even your members, family members, right? How can we leverage partnership to have a bigger impact? So think about that as you weave your plans and ideas. And with that, time is up, unfortunately. I think we need more time next time, PDG Felix, to really get into the meat of service projects. But I hope you got some takeaways on this, and let's continue the conversations. Whenever you've got some ideas, feel free to share them in the chat, even during the rest of the PETS programs, and we can all get inspired from each other. With that, thank you so much, and over back to you.
Thank you, PDG Arash. We thank you for such a participative speech. And key takeaways, I have taken a few. Elected club officers, remember you are not alone. You have other clubs in the district or the club in the world. You have your WOTAC clubs, and also you have your friends and family members. It does work, PDG Arash. While you're waiting for the district or the global grant, check your friends. You'll be surprised. They know how much you're passionate about what you're doing. Friends and family members do help. Remember, partnership also with other organizations. It doesn't have to be a club, but it can be Food for the Poor, for example. I see that. We work a lot in Haiti with Food for the Poor. And now we are having youth programs, Rotaract, Interact, and Early Act with Pipi John Hart. Pipi John Hart wants to make sure that we know that we need to work with the younger ones so that we do not worry when it's about time for us to leave. We have young ones well prepared, as passionate, maybe more than we are, to replace us or to start working with us, hoping that they will be replacing us. Thank you, Pipi John. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. When I was asked by District Governor-elect Louis to say something or give a presentation on youth service, and I looked at the schedule of presenters. I look at DGs, AGs, PAGs, even a past Rotary International president. I said, wow, I'm just a PP, but past president. But I still thank Louis for giving me this opportunity to say something about youth service, something that's really personal to me, because let me just very briefly say something about myself and you will know what I mean. I joined the Rotary Club of St. Martin Mid-Isle in November 2001. The following month, we had a Christmas dinner and our president-elect asked me to be a secretary. And boy, that was a lot of work, those 2 years. I've been, in total, 5 years, I've been a club secretary. And then in 2005, 2006, I was asked to be president, 2008, 2009 again. And Louis also has this term that he uses a lot. We are a very environmentally friendly club. We even recycle our presidents. And then in 2012, 2013, I was president once more, 3 times. From 2004, I've been an Interact advisor for the Interact Club of St. Dominic High School. And I've been on the board from our club as youth service ever since I can remember. And that's basically my years in Rotary. I'm married to someone called Yvette, a wonderful wife. She gave me 3 beautiful daughters who all, 2 of them went through Interact, and all 3 of them went through Rotaract, the Rotaract Club of St. Martin Sunset. The presentation is about youth programs, Interact, Rotaract, and Early Act. I did put alongside those programs, I also put the RILA, which is something that I have some experience with also. Now, every 3 years, the Council on Legislations, they meet to consider change. Youth service has been proposed for several decades at the end of the century and also the beginning of this century. In April of 2010, the Council on Legislation accepted the proposal presented by Ron Seckel from District 5170 with a minor change to the name, and they call it New Generation Service. Now, New Generations as an avenue of service will have an international effect on Rotary with additional and intentional focus placed on Rotary programs for youth and young adults. Some clubs still have the chair of youth service. Some call it New Generations, but I believe both are similar. Now, Interact, let me just mention what District Governor Charles mentioned last week in his report. We have 94 Interact clubs in our district, including 4 new of those clubs. We have 56 Rotaract clubs, including 1 new club this year. And we have 35 Early Act clubs. And these clubs are really, really dynamic, I must say. We have 1 in St. Martin, which is really, really great. And like I mentioned, I will say something about RILA also. Interact, what do Interactors do? They take action, they build international understanding and make new friends around the world. Interact clubs bring together young people ages 12 to 18 to develop leadership skills while discovering the power of service above self. And Interactors will soon find out that serious leadership can be seriously fun. There are, there are 342,953 interactors in the world today, and this is from information I received about last week. They are in 14,911 clubs and in 145 countries worldwide. The benefits of Interact: they connect with leaders in their community and around the world to take action to make a difference in their school and community, discover new cultures, and promote international understanding. They become leaders in their school and community and have fun at the same time, making new friends from around the world. Now, Interact clubs, they organize at least 2 projects every year, one that helps their school or community, and one that promotes international understanding. Rotary clubs sponsor, the club sponsors, they mentor and guide interactors as they carry out projects and develop leadership skills. They also celebrate the global impact of Interact by getting involved in World Interact Week, which is usually the week of the 5th of November. They have Interact Video Awards. I believe our district have those awards also. And in the US, many interactors join on Rotary Youth Day at the United Nations and celebrate Global Youth Service Day. Before I continue with Rotaract, if there are some projects that your club has sponsored, let's say an Interact club, and if you can put in the chat box also some of the projects that your Interact clubs have been doing, which will help a lot of people to give, a lot of Rotarians to have new ideas what to tell their Interact clubs to do. I can mention briefly the Interact Club of St. Dominic High School. They do some fundraisers, for instance, Jeans Day. Sometimes the children want to wear something different, regular uniforms, so they have Jeans Days, and every child who wear a jeans, they have to bring $1 or $2. That's how they raise funds. Every year when we have the annual beach cleanup, those interactors, they come out in large numbers because they're having fun cleaning up the beaches. Sometimes they organize pen pal exchanges with several pen pals around the world. And when our club have a project, for instance, the walkathon, we invite these interactors to help us out, putting them at the stations where they share out bottles of water, and they're always having fun doing these kind of things. Recently, when Puerto Rico had an earthquake, we organized a car wash. All we had to do is invite these interactors, and they came in large numbers once again. And we also have our annual spelling bee. They come and help out sharing the snacks and drinks, always giving a lending hand. Rotaract. They join the global movement of young leaders who are developing innovative solutions to the world's most pressing challenges. Rotaract clubs bring together people ages 18 and older to exchange ideas with leaders in the community, develop leadership and professional skills, and have fun through service. In communities worldwide, Rotary and Rotaract members work side by side to take action through service. From big cities to rural villages, Rotaract is changing communities like ours. There are 203,298 Rotaractors in the world. Again, according to the stats from last week, 10,698 Rotaract clubs and 180 countries. Rotaract members decide how to organize and run their clubs. They manage their own funds and plan and carry out activities and service projects. Rotary club sponsors offer guidance and support and work with their club as partners in service. And then we have Early Act, which is not very long in existence. However, these are basically school-wide service clubs for elementary students from ages 5 to 13. In St. Martin, we have a community-based early act club from player development, and player development is organized for children who get help with their homework, and after they finish their homework, they do some sport, baseball or some other activity. So that helps them a lot, and Early Act fits beautifully in that organization. It is sponsored by Early Act clubs, sponsored by one of the local Rotary clubs in the township in which the school is located. The mission and operation of Early Act are closely linked to the ideals of Rotary and provide the foundation and natural succession into Interact. Early Act provides young students the opportunity for gaining an increased awareness and knowledge of their community and the world. At a young age, all students can easily be encouraged to be caring and helpful. Their minds are open to recognize the dignity and worth of each individual, which builds respect for others. Early Act also promotes understanding and the building of friendships among the club members. Early Act also engages students in character building activities and prepares them for leadership roles to identify and carry out projects which benefit their school, local, and global communities. They are self-supporting and carries out at least 3 service projects annually, one each for their school and local communities, and one which furthers international understanding. The Early Act clubs, they meet twice monthly for 30 minutes, sometimes more, and the meetings are conducted by the Early Act officers. There are no dues. I wish that we can say the same for Rotary. Monies for projects and activities are raised through Early Act Club's activities. The Early Act Club submits an annual report to the sponsoring Rotary Club. And if you want to start an Early Act Club, it's all explained in detail in the Rotary's Early Act brochure. One of the, well, I can say what they do at player development. They have raised funds in the past for a restoration of a very historic train in New York, and that project is, I believe it's still ongoing. Recently, they received some funds from the St. Catherine Rotary Club in the United States to prepare food baskets to be given to those hardest hit by the pandemic here on St. Martin. So if you can also put some projects that, if you have a club that sponsored an Early Act club, put some ideas in the chat below. Let's move on to RYLA. When I think it was Pastor Sir Governor Vance Lewis, and at that time Jim Ferris used to be the youth service chair for the district. He asked Jim Ferris to organize a RYLA on St. Martin. Well, all 4 clubs came together and organized a RYLA, I think for about 150 children. It was big, and it was a huge success. What we do in on our islands, since we have, you know, in our district, it's kind of difficult for students to travel abroad to attend RYLA. It will be costly. We organize mini RYLAs here on St. Martin. We have done that in 2018, 19, and 20. And it was always a wonderful success. We invited interactors from St. Bart's, from Anguilla. They came to St. Martin, and we had 1-day RYLAs. We call them mini RYLAs. Basically giving the same lectures, the same leadership seminars, just like a bigger RYLA. Rotary Youth Leadership Awards is an intensive training program that brings together youth and young adults ages 14 to 30 to further develop character and leadership skills and learn about Rotary. RILAs often take the form of a seminar, camp, or workshop, generally 3 to 10 days in length, organized by Rotarians at the club, district, or multi-district level. Participants are nominated by local Rotary clubs, which often cover all expenses. For these young adults, this recognition offers the opportunity to build self-confidence, gain exposure to a variety of issues and people, meet active community leaders, and learn valuable information and career skills. Each RILA shares the following program objectives to demonstrate Rotary's respect and concern for youth, to encourage and assist young people in responsible and effective voluntary youth leadership by providing them with valuable training experience, to foster continued and stronger leadership of youth by youth, and to publicly recognize the many young people who are rendering service to their communities as youth leaders. Each RILA should be planned for youth within the focused age range and relative maturity level. For example, youth ages 14 to 18 are often still in the process of figuring out who they are, while participants ages 19 to 30 may be more settled and focused on achieving their life and career goals. For such organizing of RILAs, there is a protection. There's a code of policies which states very clearly the protection of all young persons involved in Rotary-sponsored activities. It's a necessary component of a successful RILA. To ensure that your entire committee and councilors are well informed of Rotary's youth protection policies, all committee members and volunteers, Rotarians and non-Rotarians, must attend a youth protection training seminar in advance to the RILA. There's an international RILA that it's Rotary International sponsored, and it's held immediately before the RI convention, which focuses on developing advanced leadership skills by leveraging the internationality of the participants. International RILA participants must be between the ages of 18 and 30 and be sponsored by their local Rotary club or district. I have 3 daughters. All 3 of them attended the International RILA in Washington, D.C. And believe me, it's an experience they will never, ever forget. And I think that brings me to the end of my presentation. But before I leave, let me see. There's one quote from the past Rotary International President, Louis Vicente Gay. He said, "Our vision for the future, now more than ever, is the difference between success and failure. The new generations are our investment in the future. Let us begin to build that future today." Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present something about youth service. Thank you.
Bibi John, thank you very much. I will not make any comment on your presentation. I think the last slide says it all. Thanks again. And now, this is the third of our district governor nominee, Deborah Ohal, who will be talking to us about leading leaders. Please, Gigi and Deborah, you have the floor.
Good evening, Rotarians and Rotaractors. Thank you so very much. We've been sitting here quite a bit, so I'm going to ask Elisa to help me. Can you just put on the song? Forward 10 seconds. Back to the next 10 seconds.
everyone from A to Z.
Raise the
I can catch the smell. It's you, I tell. Mix a special brew with fire inside of you. Anytime you feel danger of me, instantly I will it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby.
Stretch the ankles. Stretch the ankles.
Yes.
Roll your shoulders forward. We got a lot of stress. Roll it back. Get rid of that stress. Woo, that's what feel good. Let's go with areas of action. At least when you put the song out, it's a little running on time. Awesome. That should get us in the mood. We've been sitting a while and, you know, the night is young, so Rotarians, people of action. Well, we're going to be talking about leadership and leading Rotarians. That's a mouthful. So the objective for this session is to look at the skills needed to be an effective leader, as well as developing strategies for handling potential challenges in leading fellow Rotarians. It's not hard, but you know, Alicia, can you help me with that video?
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
I got this one this morning, right here, and if you look at his face, it's just ripped to shreds, you know?
You see the movies, you hear the stories, I'm living a dream. Not everyone can do what we do.
I wouldn't do nothing else.
It ain't an easy job, but when you bring a herd into town and you ain't lost a one of them, ain't a feeling like it in the world.
That would literally sum it up in terms of being leaders in today's world. Now, we're talking today specifically about leading Rotarians. In the military, leading is so much easier because we have a couple things on our side. First, we are Rotarians and we're all leaders in our own rights, in our professions, in our business. But where do we get our authority? In the military, my authority was statutory, which means it's based in law. Rotary is an all-volunteer organization, and our positions does not necessarily come with authority, but it demands the respect for the position. Our Constitution does establish the parameters we should operate under. The military and business has recourse for non-performance. Unfortunately, Rotary does not. You as a leader must be willing to reassign if Rotarians are not meeting expectations. Well, you've got it now, you're in charge. So be the leader, but not necessarily be the boss. Good leaders look at the gamut of things called leadership as identified on this slide. Influence. Your leadership style determines how you provide direction, implement a plan, or motivate others. The power of persuasion will play heavily in getting others to assist you. Most times, leadership style is situational and personnel dependent. Inspiring club members will encourage participation in projects and programs. Teamwork. No man is an island, and many hands get the job done. Building consensus finds solutions that satisfy the masses and many needs. The club is as strong as its weakest link. You will need buy-in to take your agenda forward. Leading and motivating volunteers are essential to your club and to the district. Communication, the ability to communicate a vision and purpose to individuals and groups would help Rotarians gain support and accomplish goals. We build trust and fellowship by listening, understanding, and providing feedback. We come to decision. If you're in a leadership position, you have to be prepared to make decisions. Do not be fooled. No decision is a decision. Gather information necessary to make the best decision with the information that you have available. Management, or we should say time management. So much to do, so little time. We must apply a set of principles, practices, and tools to use time wisely. Once lost in time, it is forever gone. Contribution. The leader must be willing and readily contribute to accomplishing the goal. Your members will follow you. You just need to do your part. Vision. Your club and district strategic plan is your barometer. The action plan is a tool in developing long-term direction and a framework to establish objectives. The plan should be reviewed every 3 to 5 years. Ethics, what can I say? A group of shared values. Ethics have always played a significant role in how clubs are ran and how members conduct themselves. The 4-way test says it all. Motivation. Motivation keeps us moving, but mentoring keeps us grounded. Responsibility. Each Rotarian is responsible for the things they have committed to. If you hold a leadership role, you are responsible with the task associated with that position. Leaders must hold themselves and those they are responsible for accountable by making sure we are all working towards the same goal. Okay, some champion strategies. The first thing, know your members. Identify who you can rely on and for what. Find out their interests. Care enough to detect when something is wrong and reach out to your members. Bring in those with opposing views and encourage them to provide solutions. Do not ignore Rotarians with dissenting views, because if you ignore them, they can become distractors. Definitely do not let your members hold you hostage. Make sure you know what you need to know about the club. Be prepared and knowledgeable. Complete online courses. Talk to senior Rotarians, do your research, and just amass all the resources that's available. Google is really your friend. Speak with confidence. If you're going into the room, strut into the room. If you're coming online, give that dazzling smile, because you want them to understand, I got this. Okay, that's what you want to project. Because really, you always need to be projecting confidence, regardless of how you feel. You could be shaking downstairs. They can't see on Zoom. All they could see is your face. So put your best face forward all the time. Now, with doing that, arrogance is not cool. So, be authentic and be humble. Stay in control of your meeting or activity. If you're in charge, be in charge. Set the agenda and stick to it. Focus your discussions. Don't swat flies. In other words, don't have folks discussing irrelevant issues. Keep them on point, on target at all times. You have to be the compass guiding the meeting at all times. Do not let it escalate to other than it was intended to, or don't allow anyone to hijack your meeting. Set the example. An organization takes on the characteristics of its leader. What you do or tolerate is what you'll get. So you always ask yourself, what do you want your legacy to be? And last on this slide, be the change you desire. If you detest meetings starting late, start on time. Your members will figure it out. The first meeting might have 5 people, then 10, but they're gonna get it. Take action, 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 action. Like Nike, just do it. You're the leader, take charge, go forth, do great things. I say never stop moving, and I just have a code word. So for me, it's move. M, know your mission, what's expected of you. O, organize your team so you can get the mission done. V, verify that you have the resources, it's in place, and you have everything you need. E, execute the plan, and at the same time, evaluate it to ensure that you're getting the desired outcome. It's just a cycle. You never stop. Just keep moving, keep learning, keep going. And finally, please enjoy your time, president or whatever position you're in. Leading Rotarians is such an awesome task. It's gonna be the best year of your life. You're gonna love it, but it's gonna be what you make of it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for such a practical speech. And I hope that my fellow president-elects, club officers-elects had taken note, or they will go to YouTube to see it again. Remember, president-elects, we are all volunteers. That's what the DGN reminds us of. So we cannot come with authority. We are not a boss. We are just a volunteer leading the club. So let's be a leader, not a boss. And like I said, you can go to the YouTube to see again. Okay, let me congratulate all the participants tonight, all the presenters, because we don't have too many questions, which means it was very clear for everyone. And we'll see you next time. Thank you all and have a very, very good night. Very happy to see you again.